Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special on this Monday, the 23rd day of February. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for.
We'll recap the sports headlines from over the weekend now that the Winter Olympics is over. We'll get into that and much more. Plus, it's Make You Laugh Mondays. So we'll be joined by Trevor Chavez and Greg G. Williams at 8 o'clock. Plus, we'll talk a little basketball with Snacks at 8:30. You can call or text in anytime throughout the show at 661-842-2000.
And I cannot wait to talk to our guy Snacks because at this point, LaMelo Ball is just becoming a absolute menace to the city of Charlotte. And I want to hear what he has to say about this. I had no idea that his reckless driving was something that's been happening for a while. And that is one of the biggest talking points, or at least the biggest stories that I saw over the weekend in the world of the NBA is just what are they going to do about LaMelo? That's crazy, crazy work. But obviously, it was a fantastic hockey weekend. I got to be at the Condors game on Friday. Unfortunately, our boys lost in overtime to Calgary, but it was still a fun game. And all in all, we left with some points. So I guess that's a good thing. Saturday, for those of you who are fans, we got the Shoresy season here in America. That was fantastic to watch all day Saturday and prep us for the absolute beatdown. That was America against Canada Sunday morning.
Beatdown?
Well, I call it a beatdown. I don't care. We won. I'm calling it a beatdown. At any point in time, if America beats Canada in hockey, that is a beatdown. Because we're not supposed to lose to Canada. I'm sorry, we're not supposed to beat Canada. Canada's not supposed to lose to us. This is Canadia's game. For us, absolutely. 2-1 is the final. I realize that. An overtime goal by Jack Hughes to save it. He had absolute beauty. But the big hero of the game, in my opinion, was the goalie, Hallebuck. That guy. If this kid is not the goalie for the next couple 4-season classics plus the Olympics, whatever, with this game alone, he should be the standalone goalie for the United States until he retires. That was the perfect game for a goalie in hockey. I could not find a single moment. Well, I guess you can count the one goal, but he was on his game throughout the entirety of this pivotal game for the United States. And coming after a massive loss in the Four Seasons Classic last year, because if you didn't watch or if you don't remember, the United States and Canada were in the final last year as well, went to overtime. U.S. loses 3-2. After the U.S. just lost to the Swedes right before that, too, who hadn't won a game the entire time, which was embarrassing. But with them bouncing back, winning this one, you had the really touching moment of them bringing down, the player that passed away because he was hit by a car while he was biking with his brother. I can't necessarily remember his name right now, but if you were a hockey fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a really cool moment during the celebration. They brought his kids on the ice, took the jersey. Everybody took a picture together. It was a really, really just heartwarming moment for the U.S. and this entire Olympic team. And it capped off a fantastic Winter Olympics for the United States. I believe we finished second in medals, if I'm not mistaken, which is a pretty good standing here for the Winter Olympics. Headed into a Summer Olympics in which we'll be in Los Angeles. So I think this was an overall successful bout for the United States outside of the one country who shall not be named that beat us. But we all got to see what we wanted to see, which was America take home the gold in ice hockey. What do you think this means for the sport, my friend? I mean, I've been hearing people talk about it all weekend and all morning. Do you think that this is going to start a resurgence of hockey players here locally in the United States, around the country, especially since this is the first gold medal that anybody has seen in the United States since 1980 in the Miracle team?
I'd hope so.
I think that
I would hope so.
And the story of Jack Hughes being a kid from, I believe, Arizona. I mean, born and raised in LA, but I think he moved to Arizona and then has obviously been in multiple places where you wouldn't expect a hockey player really to be or thrive. I think a lot of people focus on places like Minnesota and, you know, the colder fronts of America to be where we get our hockey players. But I think that a lot of these shows have it right on the dot. I think we're going to get a good amount of athletes sit there and think to themselves, I wonder if I could be good on the ice. I wonder if hockey is my sport. Because there are a lot of athletes that could probably have been dual athletes when it comes to whatever they preferred and hockey. And that is where I think we're going to be, or all of these athletes are going to be thinking. We just saw the United States win a gold medal, first time in 45 years, 46 years. I could be the next one to do that and be coveted just like all these people waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to their nearest Hoagies or whatever bar you chose, have a beer, and watch a national ice hockey game. I don't know a lot of people that really were that invested into hockey outside of, cities that actually have a hockey team. And everybody came together to watch this game and cheer on our boys after the girls dominated as well all throughout. And the best, I say dominate because you really have to take into account what this team has done throughout this entire stretch. Not a single power play goal throughout the entirety of the Olympics. That's impressive. And for those who don't know what a power play goal is, that's when one of your guys is penalized, is pulled into the penalty box, and you're down a man. That is what's called a power play. Obviously, the other team has an advantage over you. Traditionally, this is where a lot of these goals get scored. And with the defense being able to lock down like they did throughout the entirety of the Olympics and beat Canada at the end to bring home the gold and make up for what happened in the Four Seasons Classic, I think you can't build a better storyline than that. Will we get a Miracle on Ice 2? God only knows. Disney loves to do that. So we'll see what ends up happening here. But overall, did you get to watch the game at all, Sparky?
I did not.
No, I know it was really early for a lot of people.
I didn't
wake
get
up
to
at
bed
the
until
crack of
like
dawn.
3 a.m. So
Yeah.
I was like, nope, I'll watch the highlights.
Honestly, that's what I did. I had recorded it and I was like, I ain't waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I do that on a regular basis. There's no way. So I slept in a little bit. I had our guy Chris Orr text me in the morning and say, oh my God, we won. I was like, thanks, Chris. I haven't watched it yet, but I appreciate it. I got to watch the entire game though when I woke up, and it was a lot of fun. Some great ice hockey from both sides. You got to feel for guys on the Canadian team though, like Connor McDavid, who, I mean, if you're a Condors person or if you're an Edmonton Oilers person, you know that name, obviously. And this kid's come up short the last 4 major championships he's been in, outside of, I guess, the Four Seasons Classic, if you want to count that one. But the Edmonton Oilers losses in the Stanley Cup, now getting silver in the Olympics. I mean, for a guy who's supposed to be one of the greatest hockey players of all time, or at least is growing into that, you got to feel for him after a while, because all of this second place work has to spurn him a little bit, just a tid. But again, overall, I don't think it really matters to Americans. Everybody's going to be pumping Freebird for the next 2-3 weeks as we absolutely rub it in the Canadians' faces on Instagram and TikTok or whatever social media platform you prefer. And we're all going to have fun with this for a little bit until the Stanley Cup comes around here in the next couple of months. Plus, we got March Madness coming up. And, this is the other story that I've noticed as well, Sparky. Have you heard about this story of this Kansas Jayhawk player who's been sitting out or whatever? It has really just been, I don't want to call him a cancer because I don't know how the kid is really within the locker room, but he's definitely not helping the team win anything.
Is it the kid that doesn't want to play?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is holding himself out or whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's claiming to be sick, but there's no symptoms, I guess. I don't know. This is the weirdest story in the NCAA so far this year. And there have been some odd stories of players from the G League coming back and trying to play in college. And yet this one is the one that scratches my head, because this is a top first round talent that's essentially telling a team that's in the race in the March Madness tournament, like they potentially could be a 3 seed, maybe a 2 seed. And this is probably supposedly the best player on the team, and he doesn't want to play. I don't know if he's holding himself out for the NBA or if this is just a new mindset that these college athletes are coming in with, but it boggles my mind why we're even talking about this. If you're healthy, you need to be playing, brother. You're playing for draft stock. I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but when you're playing a sport in college, that is one giant interview. And what you do on the court, as well as what you do off the court, is going to dictate whether these professional teams even want to deal with you.
My question was more of the education side.
If
you're not playing, you're on a scholarship.
Yeah.
Are you paying for your schooling?
Are you actually going to class too? Because, everybody knows how these things usually go with star athletes. So that's an absolutely great point, Sparky. What do we do about the scholarship situation? If you don't want to play, that's the whole reason you're here. So do you pull that? I don't think they will, because I'm sure there's some legal battles that you have to go through in that area. But I think this kid's just shooting himself in the foot in terms of
I've just
draft
never heard of
stock.
it.
I haven't either. Well, at least not to this extent.
Not to the
Especially,
point where they're giving you a scholarship to play basketball and you're not playing basketball.
that's what I'm saying. And with a team that's good. Like, I guess, some people can sympathize with a great player that doesn't want to play for a bad team or a bad coach. But in this case, that's complete opposite. This team is good and honestly might be better with him off the court. That's why it's like you could probably dangle around the idea of him being a cancer, because if they're playing better with him not on the team,
With the big
there's some
clouds that
things.
are shadowing the NBA right now with NBA tanking.
Right.
And I mean, is this a good look for a player that's could be in the draft next year?
I guess if you're a team that wants to tank, it is, because at least you know that he'll be on the same side as you, not wanting to play basketball. But I don't know. It's a great point, Sparky. We talked about this last week, and you guys heard me say it. I think the problem in the NBA is just an attitude problem. It's just it's a mentality situation. I love guys like Anthony Edwards because they jaw at people and you actually see a competitive nature, but we don't get that from everybody in the NBA anymore. And is that a problem? And you're absolutely right, Spark, with college players acting like this. And as I just said, this is an interview process, man. If you're not willing to play for the Kansas Jayhawks, how are they supposed to believe that you're willing to play for the Boston Celtics if you get drafted there? You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird situation. I don't understand who's in these guys' heads, though, that's telling them that this is a good idea.
Yeah, just sit.
Yeah, who's the one telling you this? Because there's no way you just came up with that. That you saw something happen and say, you know what, this guy got drafted after not playing at all. Maybe I should do the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. But there's got to be a deeper issue
Right.
going on.
Like, is a parent getting in your ear and saying you're not making enough money?
Is it the coaching? Is it just not on the same page?
Right. Like, there has to be a deep-seated issue here that we are not seeing, or at least that we are not aware of. But you're absolutely right, Spark. There's something going on here. And I just, it's not a good look for the player, man. It's really not. I apologize. I should really look up his name, but I just saw this story in passing over the weekend, and I haven't really been able to follow NCAA basketball closely. But I think you're onto something there, man. I think that there is just somebody in this kid's ear that's giving him bad advice. It's giving him some sort of like, you need to be sitting out because we're getting you ready for the pros. We don't care about college ball, which is a ridiculous
You're on a contract.
statement. You're number 8 in the nation, too. What are we talking about here?
I did get to watch a little bit of basketball over the weekend. We got to see the Duke Michigan game.
Nice.
Which I was expecting to.
Okay.
I thought Michigan was going to pull it, but Duke is looking good, man. And I think that could be my pick of the year because they look good.
Everybody was saying this could be a Final Four matchup preview as well.
Totally.
I guarantee both of these teams will probably be 1 seeds by the time the tournament comes around, unless the selection committee wants to penalize Michigan for losing. But Carlos Boozer's son is the one that I keep hearing is the best player in the country right now. And I know
UConn looks good. I mean, there's a couple teams, and it's usual the usual names: the Dukes, the UConn, the Michigan. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I was trying to do a little bit of homework as we get closer and closer to March Madness. I was shocked. I looked over at the calendar. I was like, next weekend is March, and it's coming up quick.
Yep. The selection Selection Sunday, I believe, is in 2 weeks, something like that. Because I saw the only thing that got me wondering how the heck I even saw this in the morning, but I woke up Saturday to ESPN saying these 4 teams are your number 1 seeds in March Madness. So I sat there and said, "Is it Selection Saturday? What the heck? Like, are we already here?"
I went to a Condor game and looked at it. It's March.
Exactly, and I'm like, how is that even possible? We still have 2 weeks till the tournament. And of course, they're saying like if it ended today, that's what it would look like. But with the matchups that we're seeing already at the end of the year, a lot of that's going to get changed. I don't know if necessarily it's going to get changed drastically. A lot of those teams that are going to be number 1 seeds, your Dukes, your Michigans, Arizona, more than likely, even though they've lost a handful here, including to Kansas, without Darren Peterson. I looked up his name. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of shifting in and out here, but the biggest story that I keep reading about is the increase of teams that they want to get to. They want to push this to 72 or 76 teams overall. Is that too much? I think March Madness is probably the only tournament in which you can get away with this because it's already that big. And I mean in size and number. But pushing this to 76 teams, how many are we really going to throw into this?
100.
I mean, at this point, you might as well go to 128.
Right. Just let everyone play.
And I get it. They're trying to just dance around all the teams that, get angry because they get left out of the tournament. But it's not like these smaller schools are actually going to get those slots. That's what everybody keeps saying. It's like, oh, if there's more slots, obviously the smaller schools get a chance.
Well,
no, you won't.
Unless you're a diehard, college basketball fan. Would you even notice?
Probably not.
I mean, once March Madness kicks off and there's 3 or 4 channels that play it all day, would you even know?
No. But again, it would just mean more basketball.
Exactly. And if you're a basketball fan, why not?
Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely. And honestly, if you're television, obviously you want that because that means more money, baby.
And that is exactly what I was just going to say. It comes down to money. Mm-hmm. The more teams, the more travel, the more audience, more people going to the games, more, going to the snack bar, hotel, it is a money machine. And I read this story last week because I believe the guy that's voting for it or the one that makes the big decisions was talking at 70s. And he said, we obviously won't make it this year because of how quick it is, but they are pushing it for next year.
By 2027. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I read as well. Whether they get everybody to agree to it or not is up in the air.
And that's my big question is how does this go? How does the voting go for this?
I believe there's a panel. I believe there's a panel that votes upon this, maybe the NCAA panel as a whole. I have to research a little bit more into that. Or if anybody knows, feel free to chime in and tighten us up.
I was going to ask Snacks because I know he works in that in that area.
He would be the one.
And what he would think. I mean, there is not a lot of people. I mean, 90% of the people I play March Madness with, they're just picking names that stick out to them. Oh, that's my upset. They've never watched one minute of them.
Or they do 15 to 20 minutes of research before.
Ask AI.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I think a lot of people this year, because especially after last year, remember we had the entire surge of people using AI to do their brackets for them, and it actually was pretty successful. Yeah. Which is cheating in my opinion.
I usually pick a team that I go with, and I'll pick 1 or 2 random.
Right.
And that's how we have always done
man,
it.
I follow as much NCAA basketball as I can, but like you just said, Sparky, there's no way I could follow all of it because there's just way too many freaking teams nowadays.
And hopefully we'll get a time, maybe Bolt will do some homework for us.
I have one team that I have a bias for. That's right here on my chest right now. Every single year I take USC, though, to go anywhere close to the Sweet 16, I am shot in the foot. So obviously it's not a good look for the boy. It's like you said, though, will it even matter if they push it to 72 or 76? And not in a bad way. I should highlight that. I think everybody who's listening right now says, what do you mean? I think people are just going to say, okay, great, more basketball, especially fans. I mean, we talked about this when it came to the NCAA football playoffs and everybody's saying we should expand it like March Madness. That's too much. Too much football is a bad thing. Yeah. Too much basketball, though, is a good thing. More and more basketball on TBS, TNT, whatever television screen you want, everybody's going to be in on that. March Madness is probably the one time a year where your boss doesn't even care if you're doing work or not, because we all know what we're doing during March Madness, especially during those first couple days, because those games are starting at 8 a.m. and they don't end until 6 p.m. or whatever time that last game is. So it's one of those situations where pushing the amount of teams might work out. But on the opposite side of the coin, I keep thinking back to what we talked about when we first started this conversation. Why not just let everybody in?
Right.
Why are we even stopping anybody? Why not just say, okay, top 4 teams from every conference get into the March Madness tournament, and that's everything. But I'm also going to be on the side here because I know Greg Kerr's probably talked about this a million times over because he talks about this all the time, and he's absolutely right. It doesn't mean the smaller schools are actually going to get a shot.
We'll get one shot.
Yeah. Your DePauls and all of that aren't going to get the shot they deserve. All this means is that more teams from the ACC, the SEC, the Pac-12, whatever conference you're in that's major is going to be getting in more because they pull in more money. And they're all doing this under the guise of, well, we want to give more schools and more students the opportunity to experience this. Yeah, again, you're lying. You're just trying to get the other
It's all about
schools
the
in.
money.
It's all about the money. It's
Which
all
is,
about the vengeance.
I've got to throw out. I saw the BC Renegades are in the state playoffs.
Oh, fantastic.
They
For basketball?
Yep.
Sweet.
And they start Wednesday.
Okay. We got to get our boys on then. We got to talk about this.
Wednesday
I
at
know
7
Rob Chavez
o'clock.
is listening. Rob, if you got some time, my friend, text us. Let's see what we can get going. We'll talk about this state playoff run, hopefully, for the Renegades, because that's awesome. I was unaware of that. Let's get some more championships in Bakersfield. Let's take a break real quick. We'll get into some other stuff on the other side. We had a passing over the weekend in the world of football, Rondale Moore.
Oh, that one was rough, dude.
It really is. I mean, the guy was, what, 26, 25?
25, yeah.
I mean, and I have a thought. Again, I can't get into this guy's head, but I think I know, or at least I can sympathize and understand what was going on with him when this happened. So we'll talk about that on the other side. Hopefully we won't get on too much of a somber note before we get our guys in here, Trevor Chavez and Greg Williams from Major Laugh Mondays, plus snacks at 8:30. Talk about all things basketball, NBA, and NCAA. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m.
I am pumped. This weekend, we did the Monty Byram Buddha's Beef concert Saturday night at
Nice.
the basement. And this weekend, It's the show I've been waiting because I'm a big Rage Against the Machine fan, and I've had tickets to go see them multiple times, but COVID took that away. Not once,
I didn't
not
realize
twice,
that was this weekend.
but 3 times. But the Vans Warped Tour band that's coming in Saturday, well, the opening band is a all women band that does nothing but rage,
Nice.
and they're called the Babes Got Machine or Babes Against the Machine.
Nice.
And I watched some videos of them. They are badass.
Fantastic. That
So
sounds
this
fun.
is about to be as close as I get to a Rage Against the Machine concert, and I'm going. I'll be pumped. But no,
Don't put that in the ether, my friend.
Hey,
You'll be out there soon.
they broke up, so I was like,
nobody ever breaks up anymore. They're taking
fully.
a break.
They'll see the money that they can make.
Exactly. If My Chemical Romance comes back for one final
Right.
tour, everybody is going to be coming back for a final tour eventually.
Hopefully it's just the original that I get to see, but
that would be great.
I'll take Babes Against the Machine.
Honestly, that sounds like a fantastic show. It really does.
Let's get this.
Yeah, let's get this. So the saddest news of the weekend was the passing of wide receiver Rondale Moore. I don't think anybody saw this coming, and for good reason. Again, we said before the break, the guy was 25 years old, 5-year vet, I think, in the league, had a couple years in Arizona, but didn't work out like they wanted to. He went to Atlanta, got hurt, and Atlanta moved off of him when they figured out Darrell Mooney was going to be that guy. And he's been in Minnesota ever since. From what we understand, this was a passing due to a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I don't know the ins and outs of the story itself, where he was or what he was doing.
I believe he was in his garage.
Was he? Again, it's another one of those instances, though, where I think a lot of people need to realize that some of these guys, that's how much they love this sport. And when you are told, because I think that's what it is. Again, I don't know the ins and outs of the situation. I don't know if he was told that he'll never be at the level that he once was because of the injuries or something, and he felt that football was leaving him. I don't know. But in this situation, I'm just trying to understand what was going on in his mind. The only thing I can think of is he felt the game was leaving him behind, and he was afraid there was nothing left for him to do after. And I think a lot of these athletes feel that way about their sport. I mean, most of us don't really think about what the future looks like for us 5 years down the line, let alone what we're going to do after the job we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So when you're 25 years old, you were a stud in college, and everybody expected you to come into the league and be a pretty solid slot receiver, if not a pretty good contributor to whatever offense you were going to be a part of. And then injuries happen, skill level goes down or whatever, and maybe something got into his head that he'll never be that guy again. I don't know, but it's just a terrible, terrible passing. Everybody that I've seen on the internet that has played with them, from JJ Watt to Max Crosby, have all come out and said how much of a terrible passing this was. I pray for his family and all of that, but I the only thing that I can understand from this, or at least that I can sympathize, is this was just one of those instances, much like a Lacey situation in LSU, or oh God, his name escapes me, but the Dallas Cowboy, who just took his own life this last season. Mental health is a real thing. Men's mental health is a real thing. And if you are listening to me right now and you feel depressed or whatever, reach out to somebody and find some help, man. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, everybody needs help. Everybody does. And these types of situations just highlight that even more. So
100%. I mean, he was a Purdue standout, 2021 second round draft. I mean, the thing is whether you're a football star, a receptionist, whatever. Yep. I mean, everyone fights their own demons.
Yep.
I'm not one that, will say I've never had my demons. We've all been there. Yep. But I mean, the more I read into the story is kind of what you pretty much laid out. I mean, the guy, you have to have a crazy ass work ethic to even make it to the NFL, the professional level of any sport.
You have to love what you do.
But I think you're right on it. I think with the injuries, not one, not two, but multiple injuries that have stunted his career, and you beat yourself up. Anybody that's had to, whether you're torn ACL or have had a surgery or anything, it's always the road back that is the hardest. And no matter what, he was loved, and obviously what we saw out of his family and friends all over Twitter and Instagram and social media, it is a sad, sad story. And I think that's what it is. I mean, anyone that's dealt with injuries in the road of recovery, it's a beautiful thing once you get there, but it is so tough. And I think whether it was the mental health or just beating himself up, thinking he's never going to get back to where he was supposed to be. And I mean, it's so young. And I have a kid that is going to be 17 later this year, and it hit home for me. And it is just a super sad story, man.
And to piggyback off of that as well, and this is just what I've heard, so I'm parroting this from NFL and athletes across all professional sports. When you're in that rehab, you're going through it, it's actually incredibly lonely. Your teammates are there for you to support you, and they're always going to be there, but they're going off and doing their thing and focusing on their job, which is practice and get ready for the game. Your job now is to just be by yourself and heal from whatever injury that you're healing from. And that can get incredibly lonely, especially when it happens year after year after year. And you're just by yourself. And it's not like he was with the same team the whole time and he knew everybody there. He's been bouncing around from team to team to team the last couple seasons, and with brand new faces every single time. It's just, you're being treated by a doctor. You're not being treated by a friend, if that makes sense. And that can weigh on an athlete. It really can, especially like me and Sparky have just highlighted, when you figure out that maybe I'm not going to be that player I used to be. And that's the worst part about it. Whatever was going through Rondale's mind when he took his own life, I don't know. And I pray for his family and all of his friends and stuff like that, that all of this, it gets better for them at some point. And I hope nobody blames themselves for this. But it's just one of those stories I don't think anybody was really expecting to hear out of the NFL over the weekend. It's a tragic, tragic loss, and a loss of a guy who I think a lot of people were really hoping was going to make that step back step back onto the field and make that resurgence in his own career, so he can be that guy that we saw coming out of Purdue. That slot receiver that when Arizona drafted it, we all thought, oh, wow, this could be the deep threat that Kyler Murray's been looking for. You know what I mean? That's why Atlanta grabbed him. They saw the talent and they said, we will gladly bring you in and have a second shot. And then he had the injury early on in the season, and we never really got to see it happen. And then Atlanta moved on from him. He got picked up by Minnesota. In Minnesota, it's already hard enough to see the field when you got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison on the field all the time.
Yeah.
So it's
he's shown flashes of being a great receiver.
Absolutely. So it's a terrible story. I don't want to dwell on it as much as any more than we already have. But again, mental health, especially men's mental health, is a real thing. Y'all, we need to start taking this seriously, or we're going to be losing more and more men across the country who you may not know who they are. And that's just as tragic as losing a professional athlete at 25. It really is.
100%. And keeping it in the NFL, I did see this interview on ESPN over the weekend with the NFL Competition Committee and the co-chairman coming out saying he does not expect the owners to bring up the tush push again this offseason.
Is it kind of weird that we're not going to bring it up the year after Philadelphia just says, no, we're not good at this anymore?
Right. And I think, whether do you think it was more of the NFLs and the refs popping them more on the false starts, or you think maybe just defenses had time to adapt to it and put a stop to it?
One this year was definitely the false starts and just the blatant penalties that weren't called or that ended up being called later on in the season. But yeah, I think that had something to do with Philadelphia pretty much saying, we're just not going to use this as much as we used to anymore. But also, we wouldn't have had that if all these people weren't complaining about it for so long, for 2, 3, 4 months before the season even started. So realistically, would we even have noticed if we didn't have those people calling and crying and saying we need to do something about this? I just think it's kind of funny that every team now is not complaining about the dang play when Philadelphia is not as good as it anymore. It was only a problem when Philadelphia was successful on it 90% of the time. But now that Philadelphia is not that successful with it, now magically it's part of football.
Yeah, no one's talking about it.
come on, guys.
What's funny is the biggest thing that they were talking about is the shorty short pants
Yeah,
that college players are allowed to wear, but the NFL is like, we're putting a foot down on this because we don't want this, blah, 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 blah. And they were making more of a deal about that. Do you remember how big it was with the tush push last year at
yep.
this time?
Oh,
This is all we
100%.
were talking about.
All anybody was talking about was the tush push going to get banned? Is it going to be a football play? Is it even a football play? It's more of a rugby scrum than anything. Again, that's why I don't understand why now we're all just magically okay with it. I thought it was a pretty unanimous thing last season, or not unanimous, but at least 49% that teams didn't like this and we were going to fix it. But now it seems like the biggest talking point is what we're going to be doing with the onside kick. And are we going to even have an onside kick, or are they going to line people up from a fourth and whatever
The
situation?
4th and 15. I like that.
I do too. And honestly, I can't remember if it was Bleck and Abdallah or somebody had a great spin on it too. Is put it at the 15.
Yeah.
Put it at your 15. That
Uh-huh.
way, if you don't get it, that team gets it at the 15-yard line,
Yeah,
and
you
it
call it over.
really shoots you in the foot.
Yeah, it'll be over.
Absolutely. But again, it's just kind of interesting to me that once Philadelphia doesn't win a Super Bowl with it and doesn't have success with the play, now magically nobody in the NFL cares if it gets banned anymore. That's kind of weird.
I know this year I saw a lot of different teams using it, but it didn't work as well as it did
Right.
the couple years before that.
Right.
And the one time I saw it work, it wasn't the tush push. It was just line up for a tush push, and the Chargers ran it on the outside, and
Right.
it worked beautifully.
Which is smart. Do something
You
different.
adapt to it.
Yeah,
and
adapt
change
and
it up.
survive, man. But again, it's more for me that I don't want to hear you guys ever say this is about the safety of the players ever again.
Right.
Because if it
Right.
was, you would still do it.
You would still be talking about it.
But you don't care.
Had nothing to do with it.
You do not give a damn about the safety of the players. What this is really about is the fact that you couldn't stop it and you hated it. So at least be honest about that.
Right.
That's where I'm at with it.
That was supposed to be all about the health of the players and blah,
Which-
blah. No one cares.
Horse dookie.
No one
No, it
cares about
was
them
not.
offensive
Never
linemen.
has, never will be. It is all about the fact that Philadelphia had a 90% success rate and the fact that they no other team could do it correctly. And apparently neither can Philadelphia if Jason Kelsey isn't the center. So I have no idea. Will we see the tush push in football? Probably. Will it actually be as successful? Probably not. I don't
continue
think so.
to flag it.
Yeah, or find some way to, a defense to thwart it at some point. But it's just, it's ridiculous to me. And I swear, if this all comes back around next season, after Philadelphia somehow wins a Super Bowl again and they use the tush push and all of that, and everybody's like, no, ban it. Safety of the players. Like, God, it's so dumb. It's so dumb to me. At least be straightforward and honest about this, because the whole idea was safety of the players. That's why you want to change this. That's why you want to get rid of the play, especially Green Bay, who uses it more than anybody. Come on, man. The hypocrisy is just ridiculous. And the shield's not going to save you from this. It's not. Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, we'll get into some other stuff that I keep seeing as well. Tyrese Halliburton got shingles. God, man, this guy can't catch a break. Plus, there was an interesting story that I saw this morning that apparently a couple of Mexican League soccer matches got postponed after a cartel leader was killed in Mexico over the weekend. That's actually kind of interesting to me. I don't follow Mexican League very much. I know how crazy it can get down there. But, I mean, when I saw the cartel leader got killed, I was like, oh, well, Mexico actually did something interesting. I don't know. That's kind of interesting to me. Let's take a break. We'll talk about all that and much, much more. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. So reading in on this a little bit more, the Mexican League that teams that were playing, there was 4 major games that were postponed apparently after the killing of the cartel leader, right? But it's because following the death, cartel members went and started burning cars, blocked roads in nearly a dozen Mexican states. My God. I mean, that's just craziness to me. It really is. But again, that's what we're dealing with down there in or deep south right now. Hopefully, that it's just one step further to helping them, not have that be the case.
I saw UCLA. They made the rule that they are going to play at the Rose Bowl this season.
Are they finally? Well, again, they weren't going to leave.
I didn't think so either.
They were threatening it, or at least thinking about the idea, because the stadium is so far away from the college that nobody really wants to make the trek from UCLA to the Rose Bowl every Saturday. But and the move to SoFi really wouldn't be the worst idea if you're thinking about it from UCLA's perspective. But you have a lease. You have a contract with the Rose Bowl that's, I believe, until 2030 something. It's not going to be ending for quite some time. And if UCLA pulls out of that, the amount of money that would be leaving that area, astronomical. It's incredible how much money they would be losing from the loss of UCLA. So yeah, I didn't think UCLA was going to get away with that from a legal standpoint, but I think eventually they will be making that trek out of the Rose Bowl. It's just going to have to wait a couple of years until that lease is finally up. And then in other news in LA sports, did you see Pat Riley getting his statue the other day? And
you got the statue over the weekend.
Versace suited too. Wow.
Nice.
I loved what he said though. The jab at all of his former players when he turned around and said, at least one of you had some respect for me to wear a tie. Like, that was pretty dang funny. But yeah, Pat Riley was honored by the Lakers over the weekend with an 8-foot tall statue, nearly 510 pounds of bronze. I mean, is this long overdue?
I think so.
It's Pat Riley. If there's one person that has impacted LA Lakers basketball more than the Buss family, or as much as the Buss family, I should say, it's Pat Riley. I know a lot of younger fans are all saying Phil Jackson. Okay,
like, who the hell is that?
But Pat, without Pat, you would not have had a Phil-led team.
Yep.
Without Pat Riley making the team that he had, the Lakers would never have been the team that we know it as today. And you may not have had Shaq coming to LA. You may not have had them making the move for Kobe.
The Phil Jackson to LA. I mean, Pat Riley, I think my number one thing is what took so long.
Yep.
And how many damn statues are you going to have out here?
As many as they want. It's LA.
There's so many players that they can. I know Gretzky's out there. I know Kobe's out there.
We're just going to have a line, brother.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, they're just going to have that whole museum of hall.
That whole LA Live area. They should just have statues.
Let's just pull the ones from the Dodger Stadium too. Let's put Jackie down here. Let's build Shohei his already. You might as well.
Right?
I mean, if it's not going to be an Angel Stadium, it's going to be a Dodger Stadium. So one of the two of you is going to build a statue for this guy. And we might as well have Mike Trout statue built right next to it too. Come on, build them all. Let's build them all. At this point, LA is just trying to glorify their teams in whatever way, shape, and form they can. And rightfully so. All of these guys are incredible, incredible talents.
Do you think LeBron gets one?
Not in LA.
You don't think so?
Not in LA. Cleveland, yes, 100%.
Cleveland,
maybe even Miami. I could see Miami getting one, but LA, no, because the one championship he is going to win for them, because they're not winning this year. Sorry, spoiler alert. It's the bubble. You know what I mean? Like, and as much as we all like to sit here and say, the bubble had its own challenges and this, that, and the other. Nobody is actually taking that championship with any kind of. I don't want to say respect, but that's technically the word I'm trying to dance around here. But
no, you don't think LeBron and immediately think the Lakers.
No, you think Cleveland or Miami? At least to me, I think Laker fans are all sitting there saying no, but no.
He brought us the championship.
When you think LeBron James in his entirety of his career, I don't think Lakers.
If it took this long to get Pat Riley one,
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
just I wouldn't think LeBron gets one. It was just a wondering.
No, it's a valid question. It really is. But I just no, I don't think he did as much for LA basketball to warrant giving him a statue. Now, maybe they do just because of how great he was overall in his career, and obviously he played there. But I think if anybody erects a statue of LeBron James, it's gonna be Cleveland. And if I were Cleveland, I would put here's exactly how I would do it. I would make the statue him like throwing up the chalk like he used to, just like that big old thing he used to have outside of the stadium forever, and put it where it's facing that exact building as if it was still there. Just put the exact same statue, 8 feet, whatever you want to put it as, don't matter, of him throwing the chalk in the air. I think that would be perfect. And then you just let it sit there for the rest of time because he is the best basketball player to ever come out of Akron. He's the best basketball player to ever come out of Ohio. And honestly, probably will be for the rest of our lives and our grandchildren's lives.
Did you ever watch Shooting Stars?
I do not believe so. What is this now?
That's the LeBron, the Big Four, him and his buddies growing up.
The drama or yeah. No,
it's a
I haven't
Peacock
actually
special.
seen it.
I didn't even know it was about him.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer a couple of times. I never watched it.
Well, because
And then we watched, I think it was last weekend, me and my son went and watched GOAT.
this is the one that has
It's got the kid
from
from
Stranger Things,
from Stranger
right?
Things.
Plays the point guard. Yeah.
And
I
it was
know
actually
exactly what you're talking
good.
about. Is it really?
We watched it. We're like, I had no idea it had anything to do with LeBron until I watched it.
Well, maybe that's the beauty of it, though, is it's not just the LeBron James story. It's the story of him and all of his friends. And honestly, if you don't know the story that happened around that time, it was unheard of. This was 5 freshmen coming in to play at this school that
Was an all-white school.
Yeah, all white school. And it's LeBron and his 4 buddies that were all just given a shot by this high school coach who was tired of losing. It's a really interesting story. And honestly, if they didn't take that approach, because that was the one thing that I saw that I was kind of worried about, was like, oh God, is this just going to be LeBron's story as a high schooler? But no, I've not watched it yet. So that's actually really cool that they didn't take that route. And it's more of just about the team and like what the team actually did in high school before LeBron obviously became who he was. And we all know what happened after that. So
it was funny. If you watch it, you know, there's a time where like everyone knew because he just doubled in size.
yes.
And that whole team, I mean, that whole team was losing so bad that it took them halfway through that season, that freshman year, until the coach is like, you know what, I'm tired of this. Put all the freshmen in. And they won the game and they went on and blew up.
That's usually how it goes too.
Right?
Is the coach just sits there and says, you know what, I'm tired of the same old
But
freshie.
then you seen the egos come up with the freshmen to the point where the coach walks out on a live game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. Again, this is all stuff that I need to actually check out my dang self because I haven't watched it yet. And you said it's a Peacock thing?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go check that out. Again, I have seen clips of it just because of I've seen the scene where the kid from Stranger Things, and I apologize, I forget his name all the time. I'm terrible with names of actors. But I saw the scene where he walks up to the coach, is shooting baskets, and is like, me and my 4 homies, we've been playing together since we're 10, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to trust us. And then it shows the scene afterwards where he actually puts them in the game and they dominate. But again, it's an interesting story at the very least if you're interested in something like that, or if you're just a basketball fan in general and you kind of want to know how all of this started with LeBron and his entire rise to fame, because it really did start with that team and them making waves as the first all-black freshman starting 5 for an all-white school in Ohio.
And we finally got the Toy Story trailer.
I am excited. You know what?
My son laughs at me because I'm like,
look, man,
a grown-ass child, but I was looking forward to it for the Super Bowl and I never saw it. So I was like, all right. And they did use the whole thing with the balding of Woody. I'm like, man, that's cold.
That is cold, but that's funny. Because, I mean, come on, dude. It's a toy, wear and tear. That's exactly what would happen, too. He's sunbaking the whole time, so the paint falls off.
I don't understand the story. I'm sure it's a good story.
I think it's going to, from what I understand from the story and from the trailer, is that it's just going to be a kid choosing between technology and toys and what is socializing. because I think that's really what this one's going to hit is kids socialize through technology now, not necessarily through playing with toys together like they used to. And is that actual socialization, or is it more just isolating yourself behind a screen? You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be an interesting story. Toy Story usually is one of those that Disney and Pixar love to use as a deeper story for society. So I think this one's going to really touch a lot of parents, hopefully, and teach you to limit the screen time with those stupid pads and iPhones. And just because your kid's crying because he wants to watch Bluey while you're at dinner doesn't mean you should whip out the cell phone and let them watch Bluey at a restaurant. As much as I love that show, come on, let's teach some normal socialization. Let's take a break. We got our guests on the other side. Trevor Chavez and Greg Williams are first, and then Snacks right after that. Talk all things basketball. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We are also streaming video every single morning from 7 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can follow us on all those social media platforms, including TikTok and Instagram as well. But it's time to talk Made You Laugh Mondays with our friend Tyson.
Hey, how's it going, you guys?
Sir, good to see you.
Nice.
I was lied to and told Trevor was going to be
That
here.
was me. That's on me.
You liar. Yeah,
I'm a liar.
It's all good. Anytime either of you are in the studio, we are more than welcome.
I feel that
More than welcome. We know you love you. But who'd you bring with you?
I brought, luckily, we have here in the studio with us Greg G. Williams. He's I think he was the very first past comic at the Well Comedy Club. That's how much of a reputation he has in town. I'll let you go ahead and explain. You go ahead and introduce yourself here, Greg.
What's up, y'all? This is comedian G. Williams. I live in Las Vegas now, Vegas resident.
Nice.
But yeah, I got in with Daniel Betts' club, The Well, at the old location. Have you ever been?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Dan and I have been friends now for about 12 years. And when he put the club together, he said, all right, I'm going to have past comics like a comedy store, improv or whatever. And I was already doing work at the club, doing spots there, running my own tour through there called Nurses Night Out. That's going nationwide. You can look that up. But he brought me in with I think it's 6 other of us. And yeah, I was one of his first past comics.
That's awesome. Fantastic. And I've seen the Nurses Night Out. I did a little bit of research on your Instagram and all of that. So was able to dive in and find out you're a nurse yourself.
Yes.
So
27 years.
How did you go from nursing into comedy?
So I know we were talking about Atlanta earlier. I lived in Atlanta for 10 years and I been working as a nurse, so I've been a nurse almost 20 years, and a comic almost 20. And when I was in Atlanta, I used to go to the comedy clubs all the time and just fell in love with it. And here I am in my early 30s roughly, and one of the comedy clubs offered a comedy class, which kind of gets laughed at sometimes if you're not in the realm of comedy, to where, because some people think they can teach you to be funny. But this class, they profess that they can't teach you to be funny, but they can teach you mechanics, how to grab a mic, how to address a crowd, how to put a joke together. And I took this class. It was like $300. We went every Monday for a month. And then on the 4th Monday of the month, we had a quote unquote graduation. We had 80 people there, which you think about it, Tyson, right? For your first show, 80 people's a lot, right? And sometimes you don't see that at open mics. And I came out there, did 5 minutes. You can say I killed it, but I did well. And when you get those first laughs, it's like a hit that just hasn't stopped. And so it went from doing it as a hobby to I got hit up by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution about a year later, and they're like, hey, here's this nurse who's doing comedy. So they came out, did an article on me. Next thing you know, I started getting hit up for gigs for nursing conferences. So they would bring me in during their lunchtime, and I had to tell jokes. And as Tyson could tell you, in your first couple of years, you don't have enough jokes
material.
So I was telling stories. I had people coming up laughing or telling stories, dancing. This one time I had a room full of nurses singing. I'm a big Queen fan, right? So I had them stomping and singing "We Will Rock You."
Love that.
I wish I still had it on tape.
Scary. That's scary. A bunch of nurses singing.
People are coming from other rooms because they hear this, and they see these nurses, and every little trick I could do, to have these people, having a good time and stuff like that. And then I built up my hour or my time. And in 2013, when I was living in San Jose, I was working out there as a travel nurse. I ended up asking the San Jose Improv, hey, can I start my own show there? So they gave me a chance. And now since then, my tour, I've done about 70 cities in 2 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I would assume that a lot of your comedy, it's stories from your nursing.
Yeah, I put about 20% in there. A lot of people think it's, all nursing. There are nurse influencers that do probably majority of that, but I kind of get bored talking about one subject. Tyson see me, so I talk about me being in the military. My daughter runs track. My daughter runs for Team USA. I've had cancer. I went through a divorce. So I tend to talk about my life,
Mhm.
kind of like I'm not Richard Pryor, not even close, but the pain, right? Like I
Right.
went through a horrible divorce, cancer, stuff of that nature. So I like making it about me and my stories because I think I do have some interesting
Right.
things. Yeah.
But I think a lot of comedy comes from that, is just deriving whatever you can from the laughs within your own life. So that's really cool. And you've obviously gone through a ton. Thank you for your service again, by the way. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
What
Mhm.
branch of the military were you in?
Army,
Army.
U.S. Army.
Nice. Did you ever go overseas or?
No, came close. So I was in during Desert Storm 1 when it
Ah, okay.
was Bush 1. So I actually got to meet Bush 1 in Korea. And when it was Bush 1 and then transitioned into Clinton. But yeah, we took our shots, wrote a letter. I don't know if a lot of people know this. You write a letter to your parents or your family when you're going to be deployed. So I did everything leading up to it. We got on a plane. We were in the air. They turned us around because they saw, because that conflict was only like 100 days or something like that. So I was set to go, but yeah,
They never actually made the trip.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, still thank you for your service. I
Thank
know a
you.
lot of people, I don't want to speak for you, obviously, but we do a lot of stuff with Honor Flight. And the entire thing with Honor Flight is to send these men over to DC to see their memorials and stuff like that. And I've heard so many of them say, well, I'm not a real veteran because I didn't go. I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. If you did the work, if you are part of the entire group, you are a veteran to me. So I really appreciate your
Correct,
service.
100%. Yeah, I've heard guys say that too. It's funny how we have to like separate that now, but yeah, once you sign your line on the dotted line,
I agree. As long as you put your life for this country, to me, you are a veteran. Whether you fought overseas or if you fight right here at home, doesn't matter to me. So we appreciate you. Going back to your background, though, we'll get away from the Army stuff. You moved into comedy. You started Nurses Night Out. How often do you do shows by yourself? Like, or is this just kind of a traveling thing that you do in different cities now?
Well, I mean, I'm the headliner. It's my tour, but like I take out, because once you start doing comedy for a while, you get comfortable with guys that are good for you or a crew. You know, like everybody that you know, like Kevin Hart, whoever. They have a team of guys that they cohesive with. So like Daniel Betts from the Well, he goes out with me. Another friend of mine, Eddie Trevino, and one of my other best friends, Stanley Shelby from South Carolina. These are guys I've known. Dan's probably one I've known the least, and Stan and I actually started comedy together 20 years ago. So,
and I saw Chris Flail jumps in every so often, right?
Oh no,
or
not
hasn't?
with me.
Not with you? I was like, I thought I saw him in a couple of your
probably
promos. He comes out on Fridays
or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I had him on a flyer, but he didn't make it.
Oh,
he kind of chickened out.
So he comes on Fridays.
Chickened out.
I've actually seen you with the Nurses Night Out. Betts and I go way back. I mean, when I first started seeing comedy in Bakersfield, it was out at the Rocket Shop Cafe pre the Well.
Yes.
And I mean, just seeing the guys like Boydston and you, and I mean, that's really what opened my eyes. Excuse me, knowing that there was a comedy scene out here in town. And like you said, you're out in Vegas now. It was that comedy based to move out to Vegas to follow your dream, or is it more of the nursing side of it?
Or both? More so comedy, because I was living in Fresno for 10 years. So I've been in Vegas. It'll be 2 years next month. So part of me moving to Vegas was to try to get into the casinos out there. So I'm slowly chipping away, just showing up, because when you go somewhere to a new town, you're kind of like starting over. And so while I have my own tour going, and I also work for a couple of military comedy groups, while I got all that going, I'm just chipping away at the casino. So that's why, because they're about 9, because the Laugh Factory just opened the new one. So there's about 8 or 9 comedy clubs in Vegas. So I'm just trying to diversify the portfolio.
So how difficult is that? I mean, you've been in comedy long enough. You've seen how it grew here in Bakersfield. I mean, how is the scene any different from here to whether it's Vegas or Atlanta, or how is this? I mean, you've probably seen the comedy world grow here in town. I'm seeing all these open mics. I mean, Tyson and Trevor, they bring in, different comedians every Monday. And I mean, you've been in it probably longer than anyone I've seen. I mean, how have you seen his grow here in town compared to big cities like Vegas.
Well, it's great here because Dan put together an actual legitimate club. And no knock on any other venue that's here that does comedy, but to have, because I've been around Atlanta, the Bay, I've been to New York, just wherever. And to have a legitimate club where you have a true stage, dark room, food, drinks, like everything involved with a comedy club, it's been exponentially great here to where, because you guys have LA, hour and a half from here, roughly,
Right,
or whatever,
yeah.
where there's a million clubs, but now you have a legitimately, something just like that here for everybody to enjoy. Because have you guys been to the new location yet?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. You see how great it is. So to answer your question, the only difference is, there's more clubs in Vegas, right? And or bigger names are there, and it's more competition. So like for me, coming from here where I was working at a dance club all the time, where I was one of the quote unquote better comics, right? Because I'm working the road and more
Of course.
experience. To go to Vegas, now I'm competing with guys that have done TV. They have bigger social media followings, things of that nature. So that's where I'm starting over. They're like, oh, okay, who's this new guy? Because I don't have the cachet like those other guys. So
Are you chipping away at one of the casinos
chipping
yet?
away at a bunch of them.
Are
So
you?
I just
Nice.
show up when I can, and I get on guest spots through friends because fortunately I have a lot of friends that do that headline those rooms. So when I'm free, I'll come through. Hey, can I do a guest spot, or can the manager, so the managers can see me or whatever? Because I don't have the social media right now. I don't have any kind of TV credits, yada yada. Whereas a lot of my friends that do, because it's everything from how many followers they got, to the dry bars, to the hotels, things of that nature. I have none of that. So everything I've been doing is grassroots for the last like 8 years.
Wow. I mean, that's really interesting though, because it's got to be an uphill battle, like going against men like that have that TV following. Have you ever tried to get TV credits? Like, have you been auditioning for roles like that in comedy shows?
Yes. I've tried a few comedy shows, a few TV shows, even with the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. I auditioned there 11 times and didn't get passed. Didn't even move on. And so when I was auditioning there, you had to go down the week before. This is how they used to do it. You used to have to go down there on a Tuesday, sign up, come back the next Tuesday, audition, and then you had to wait months before you could sign up again. I did that 11 times and didn't get passed. And so I had to go, all right, well, Laugh Factory's not it. And I moved on to something else.
Well, obviously you have something good here with the nurses' night out and stuff going around, but when's the next time we could see that here in Bakersfield? It's a better question.
I'm trying to work on a date with Dan now.
Are
So I know since
Fantastic.
he's got the club, going now, and he's trying to like figure out his schedule. We've discussed putting something in, but if people want to see my schedule, you can check out all my social media at the number 2 tall RN on all socials. So it's the number 2 tall, because I'm 6'4" and RN as a registered nurse.
Awesome. And then the other question I wanted to ask you before we shift over some sports here, because I know you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I got to get your thoughts on all the things going on in Pittsburgh right now. But for people who are trying to get into comedy, that's why we like to have Tyson and Trevor on a lot, because obviously the open mics are a great way for incoming comics to really get their feet wet. What's some advice that you can give to anybody who's listening right now that wants to get into this but is unsure of it and unsure of themselves, thinking, I don't think I'm that funny? What can you tell them to kind of like get them started at least, and say, you know what, get your butt over to Major Laugh Mondays and come try this out?
They have to go watch comedy, and they have to go to mics. You have to go to mics and just try it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think, oh, I have to be funny right away. It took me 2 years. Like I did that graduation class that I did through that comedy,
the class,
and I had some good stuff there. I actually have that very first set on tape. But after that, I sucked for like 2 years.
We've heard that a
up.
lot. Honestly, a lot of comedians have come on and said the first 6 months to 2 years of their career was all bombing.
Yeah. I have a video where for 10 minutes, there's not a laugh. I'm just up there talking. Like I'm talking to you guys right now. That's the best laugh I got, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But I could see, I knew like, okay, I went left. Okay, let's go right the next time. So in my mind, I was like, okay, next time I'm gonna go this way and then that way. And then eventually when I got that laugh and then it was the second laugh, and then the third, and I didn't look back. You know what I mean? Because you have to figure out your voice. That's something that every comic says from Seinfeld on down. You have to find your voice, what works for you. So that's why, like, me talking about topical things or observational didn't work. For me, it worked talking about my life. So being a male nurse, working with women or babies, the military, that's where I started seeing where things worked. Okay, me talking about my life works, because of the things that I've been through.
Absolutely.
That's what, we talked to Ali Sadiq last week, and he was telling me the same thing when he first got rolling with these open mics. He said it was bomb after bomb after bomb, and he almost quit. And he said once he had talked to a couple other comedians, said, dude, just be you. Talk about what you do. He had a daughter, and he was talking about nobody's stealing my jokes because they are not living it. You know what I mean? And it was a lot easier, and it was able to pitch, this is his story. And I mean, there's other comedians that have their own niche, they have their own, whether it's the dirt or whatever it is, something that catches. But, the ones that last the longest are the ones that have those personalities and they can speak the truth because they've lived it. So I'm looking forward to it. And tonight you'll be at the Make You Laugh Monday show?
No, I got to head back to Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm passing through from San Jose. I just did the San Jose Improv last night, and I'm heading back home. So I'm going to try to hang out. I got a few days off, so I'm going to try to hang out at the casinos and
do what you got to do.
Yeah,
sweet.
Bounce around and show my face there.
Well, we are around Vegas a lot because we are the affiliate of the Raiders. So next time we're down there, we'll have to figure out if you have a stand-up going on that weekend. I'd love to come out and see you.
And Betts is the regular. So whenever you get back into town, and you do your show, we'll be sure to promote that. But did I hear you're a Steelers fan?
All day. Since 1978.
Yes, nice.
Sir.
Obligatory first question. Do you want Aaron back?
Oh man, I'm so torn on that, man. He had an okay season. He can't run. Our line's
but
not
you
the
don't
greatest.
have Arthur Smith anymore, so
We
you don't have to
Arthur
worry
Smith.
about him running.
That is true. But we got Will Howards. I'd like to see what the kid can do.
I've heard that a lot.
Because, he can run. He's a big guy. He won a national championship with Ohio State. So if Aaron is there, what Will's not going to get.
No,
he's not going to get time, right? But I think that's why they brought in McCarthy, so that they could, keep Aaron. So if he comes back, I'm okay. If they try the kid out, I'm good too.
So I keep hearing from the Steeler fandom that the comparison for Will Howard, for them at least, is Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
You kind of see the same thing?
Yes, he's a big guy. He can run. I don't remember his arm. I've only watched like a few of his games when he's in college.
It's solid.
Okay, so I think if we let Aaron go, I'd be okay with it.
Would you?
Yeah.
See, because that's my thought, is just the longer he waits to announce if he's going to retire makes me believe he's not going to retire, because he's just waiting out for somebody to sit there and say, hey, we have a better opportunity for you to come back and not have your last pass be a pick six.
Right.
So,
all right. I think that's why 100% why they brought in McCarthy. They wouldn't have, because they would have not consulted with Aaron. If they, you know what I mean? They'd have been like, Aaron, okay, we're thinking about bringing in McCarthy. Okay, let's do it.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, being a longtime Steeler fan, I mean, were you expecting Tomlin to go?
No, I wasn't, but I knew it was going to wear him down.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got your fans screaming, fire Tomlin, fire
Which
Tomlin.
is insane.
Right. But they're spoiled, right? But in the fans that I say are spoiled, I don't think they were fans when we weren't good.
No.
From, the early 80s until 2006. They weren't fans then.
No.
You know what I mean? So they weren't screaming at with Coach Coward, who I loved, and I knew, okay, this is part of it. We have to build up. But nowadays in this microwave society, everybody wants to win, right? With your Dolphins, right? They want to win in 2 seconds.
I don't know if they do. I mean, I know.
We're still trying to figure that out.
Right.
I mean, we've been in rebuild since 95, so I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't want to see Coach go. I mean, when you got winning seasons, he's not winning Super Bowls, right? Which everybody wants, but who's won Super Bowls in the last, let's say, 15 years? It's been Kansas City, New England, and the Eagles, right? That's pretty much been it. 3 teams that have dominated the last, right, guys?
I would take Tomlin in a hot second.
Right. I would too.
Right.
Well, I've had this thought, or at least this belief for a while now. Do you think Tomlin deserves to be in that like top coach of all time conversation? Because he's never had a losing season.
Correct.
I've always said that he's won a Super Bowl. He's a leader of men. I don't
Mhm.
know many other coaches that are better than Mike Tomlin.
Right.
Like, I put him up there as one of the best coaches in the NFL of all time.
He's won with less than other teams.
Yes,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? We've had like everybody from Duck to what's his name, the one that slid in college. I'm drawing a blank because I hate the guy. He went to the Eagles. Kenny Pickett.
There you go. Yeah, Kenny Pickett.
He's won and went to playoff games with all those guys.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and everybody
You
that
can win
you guys
games
have
with
had,
Mason Rudolph.
Mason
Rudolph,
yes, Tony Trubisky.
Serious.
everybody you guys have had has been a household name too. Every star that plays in Pittsburgh stays in Pittsburgh. It's not like you don't build them and then they move on to a different city, and that's because of the coaching.
Correct.
I think.
Or they go to another city and you don't hear from them again.
Exactly.
Like most of our receivers, like there's only been a few where it's like, of course, Antonio Brown won a championship.
Where do you sit on him? Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
I can separate. That man was great when he was with us.
Right.
Had he not got rocked in that game against
I
Cincinnati,
said the same thing.
Everybody said
Perfect
that.
rocking him is what set him down this entire
right.
path.
That dude was, must see TV every week. I still have his jersey. I still wear it every now and then because I can separate what he did off the field when he was on. I mean, he was the man when he was with us. Had he, like I said, it almost makes me think. It makes me think about like T.O. If T.O. had not been a knucklehead and kept going, he would have been one of the greatest ever. And that's the same thing with Antonio Brown. Had he stayed with us and been consistent, he would have been one of the greatest ever.
I saw something over the weekend of him. I guess he declared bankruptcy not too long ago.
Saw that.
And then he went on social media with $100,000 grill in his mouth, shining it, saying he was crazy. And I'm like, dude, you are killing yourself right now.
Don't they do that to hide money anyway?
Yeah,
bankruptcy?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's always a financial way. You have to do it
idiot.
to get this.
I
And
wish we could do that, man.
Right?
Right? Much easier. Sorry, and then back to Steelers. So where do you see the team going forward now with McCarthy?
He's a great offensive coach. This is what the fans have been screaming for. It's like, watch what you wish for. So you got the offensive coach you wanted. We're gonna probably keep Aaron or whatever. So I'd say give him a chance. I thought we would have went with somebody younger because that's been our tradition to go with a young coach and build.
And defensive minded at that. But
this is where I don't like my fellow fans that they're spoiled because we have had consistency, whether it was Noel, Cowher, and Tomlin. You know what I mean? To where we were winning. Like this, it was exciting. I go to games about at least once a year, and it's exciting to see your team winning, right? I mean, like I said,
he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
He has no idea.
I was just going to say, where your team's winning.
this is the Charger fan talking and taking
Right.
shots over here too.
This kid.
I only want to take a shot at
Yeah, like your Falcons, right? You had your years, right, with Vic and Matt Ryan, So, yeah, everybody wants Super Bowls, but that's not guaranteed, right? So there are these dominant teams, Kansas City, and New England, that were just our nemesis. So, if you look down a tier, okay, we're not getting the Super Bowls, then give me the wins, where at least I know, okay, we got a chance for the playoffs. Like this year, we were doing well, then we had dry spots, losses and things of that nature, but it was still exciting. Where you think about like other teams that lose consistently, the Jets and some of those other teams, the Giants, right, that don't get to see success. You know what I'm saying? So for us to get wins, I was good with that.
Okay. Do you think so? Hopefully, this doesn't turn into just a long line of firing and hiring new coaches. Is what you're saying?
I think we'll have McCarthy until maybe he wants to quit or
again. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's because we
15
try to
years.
stay consistent and
Can he
loyal.
even stay 15 years?
No,
though?
that's
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
he will.
The younger guys.
Yeah, I think for however long he wants to stay there, as long as it works. But I think even if it doesn't work, they'll just let him ride because he's 60 something.
Yeah,
already?
exactly. So that's what I'm thinking.
So he doesn't have much longer, and then this will give them time to search for or keep an eye out on the coach they want for the future.
True.
I thought for sure Flores is going to be a perfect fit over there. He's defensive minded. He's young. And I thought, okay, but once I saw McCarthy, I started tying the knot. Okay, maybe they do want Rodgers back for another year. Maybe they did bring in a lot of different guys
right
in this last offseason. So I'm surprised that Tomlin was let go, but I think it was probably good timing. I mean, the disrespect from the fans booing him and, fired Tomlin. Maybe you're right. I think they were probably a little spoiled. Watch a Dolphin season for a year or two and then go back.
No, thanks.
I can honestly say if you're my
you're about
age,
to see it. So
if you're 30 or younger, there's no way that you know a time where the Pittsburgh Steelers were bad because I don't remember a time where Pittsburgh was bad.
Exactly.
So there's no way you don't know the Super Bowl winning championships that were Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I'm a little older than you guys, and like I said, I've been with them since '78,
Right.
and so I've seen the good years because we had won. When I first became a fan of them, I was 8 years old, and I saw us win against the Rams. And then we had those dry, long Bubby Brister and all these other periods where we weren't winning. And then we lost to the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I had two best friends that were Cowboys that just gave me the business all the time. So I went through it. And then to turn around and win again, yeah. So, yeah.
And to win so many times.
So many times, yeah. So
the wild card season too was wild.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So, for my fellow fans to just think that we're supposed to win a Super Bowl every year, it just doesn't work that way. There's 31. Somebody's going to win the Super Bowl. And there's going to be 31 teams, including the Dolphins, that are going to be sitting at home.
hey.
Waiting on that pick. What do you think about losing Tyreek?
I kind of saw it on the wall, and being a big fan, I knew it wasn't going to last forever. I think that window closed real quick after that one big year with him and Tua. And I mean, Miami does what they always do. They give a guy a short leash and they spend a bunch of money in salary cap and, get everybody they want in free agency. And if it doesn't work that year, then we're doing it again in 3 or 4 years. I'm excited to see what these guys from Green Bay can do. But like I've told my brother, he's my only other Dolphin fan. I told him, it's like we've seen this before, man. We hit reset, get a coach, get him all this money. I think personally, I was more nervous with Tyreek every offseason because I'm waking up early in the morning getting prepped for that. I'm like, please, baby Jesus, when I wake up, please don't have any Tyreek news because it was never good. And I hope, just as a football fan and a Tyreek fan, I hope, because that injury was gruesome, man. And people aren't talking about that. They're like, oh, he's going to be Kansas City. Let's hope this kid can come back healthy and be back on the football field because that's the first step. But we did get a listener says, I'm a Ravens fan and I'm glad to see Tomlin go. And Antonio Brown ruined as many of my Sundays as I can think of. He probably is the best receiver of all time, pound for pound.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would go that far.
You remember him in his prime, man.
No, I do. But again, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but Julio Jones to me is still the best wide receiver.
Homer,
right.
Can you name a single man that put fear into every? Actually, no, Calvin Johnson. I take that back.
Yeah, Megatron.
Every team has one.
I don't know.
Megatron's up there too.
We forget about Jerry Rice, right?
I never will. No
Jerry
gloves.
Rice.
No gloves, Jerry Rice. Come on.
Right. You guys didn't watch Jerry Rice, but he is. If you look at the records, he is the best. Right?
Oh yeah.
T.O. is a second, close second. And
that's the one that no one ever talks about T.O. in that area too. And I think you hit on it. It's just because of how much of a knucklehead he was off the field. If he just wasn't that much of a knucklehead, everybody would probably put him in the same category as Jerry.
Right.
So, me growing up watching Duper and Clayton, that was nothing better, man.
Right.
Who?
Yeah, Duper
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, Chris Chambers.
I was going to say, Vincent Jackson or something.
Exactly. Gentlemen, we have run out of time, though. We appreciate your time so much. Thank you for coming, Mr. Williams. We appreciate you. Tyson, as always, it's good to see you, my friend.
Likewise.
Major Laugh Mondays on Monday. Are you still at the same location?
Yeah, every Monday, Rosedale Firehouse. It's going to be right there on Rosedale and Callaway.
Fantastic.
You can find it from there. It'll be fun every Monday night, you guys.
And instead of Monday Night Football, they can just come down there, have a burger, and come watch you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Burgers are on discount. Beers are always cheap. You go upstairs, and we're separated from everybody. Like the kids are downstairs playing, arcade games, bowling. You all know this. And so just come upstairs. It looks like a private event. but make your way upstairs. Greg will be there one of these Mondays when he's not saving babies or having a show out of the country. He'll be around.
Look, man, he's got a lot going on.
Yeah,
You got to
kind
let
of-
them go. Plus, he's got to chip away at those casinos, brother. We got to
Exactly.
see him at a big casino one of these days.
Looking forward to it.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Tyson, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds
Mr.
good.
Williams, hopefully we see you very soon as well.
Thank you guys.
Let's
for
take a
having me.
break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We're also streaming video live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can join us on all those social media platforms, including Instagram and TikTok. Search the Early Bird Special. Look for our little logo there. Like, share, subscribe, all that type of good stuff. Thank you to our guys from Major Laugh Mondays, Greg G. Williams and Tyson Hayes. I kind of felt bad because Tyson was really just sitting there for a good portion of the time.
Good cheerleader.
I know, but we got to talk to Tyson at some point too. It's been like a month since he's been on the show. But we got to talk about all things in the world of basketball with our guys Snacks, because March Madness is almost here, and LaMelo Ball is causing trouble in Charlotte again, apparently. And it just baffles me. I was unaware this kid's driving habits were this severe, but apparently they are. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
I can barely hear you, my friend. Are you on speaker?
I said, good morning, everyone.
There you are. Good to hear from you, my friend. Let's start with LaMelo. Have you seen this story that's been going around right now that apparently the driving recklessly post games? Have you seen this?
I have not seen this story, but I've seen where they, they do those videos where they drive out of from the bottom of the locker rooms and whatnot. And he pulls out very crazy.
Apparently, this is a normal thing throughout the state or in his time with the Hornets, but this has gotten to a point now where he was driving recklessly in a truck last week on the wrong side of the road, caused a crash. I mean, is this obviously it's a bad look for the young kid? I'm not going to say that, but I'm kind of under the impression that we really should just make these athletes have drivers in certain areas. Like, are you agreeing with me on that? Like, some of these guys should just have drivers.
What?
You got enough money, pay somebody to drive you. Like, we don't need you burning out in a Lambo and running into people. Like, it's just
Or
not
team
a good
bus.
thing.
Or just join NASCAR in the off season.
Yeah. Hey, it's working
At
out
Jordan's
for Michael.
team, I was
Jordan
gonna
just
say,
won again.
back to back.
Rick just won again, so God only knows.
Yeah, I mean, just so you can see how fast those things go and how real it is, and maybe it kind of open you up like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
Little perspective to it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think the NBA needs to step in and do something about this, though? Because obviously this is a bad look for the league in general, and they can't have this kid doing this. Like, you just can't. The NFL obviously has penalized a lot of their players for this type of
Where's
action.
his daddy?
LeVar ain't gonna do jack diddly. We know that. He's probably cheering him on, saying, "It's okay, son. Go buy another truck. You got the money for it." Like,
Well, just in the last week since we talked to you, Snacks, I mean, I think it's silly, but it seems like the NBA is just running with this tanking, and it seems like anytime I'm looking up any basketball, stories, it starts with the tanking, and with Silver coming out with his silly, I think they're silly, these fines and ways that he thinks it'll fix the tanking. I mean, do you think it's this big of a problem?
I think it's a problem for the sport, and I think it is the only way to really fix tanking is to forfeit people's seasons, because each time you make a new policy, a new law, a new rule, teams are going to find a way to get around it. So if you want to tank, cool, just forfeit your whole season, and I think people will stop. I mean, that's basically what you're doing anyway.
mm-hmm.
So you might as well just get it out the way. All right.
So I brought up last week is something that maybe we'll get to the NBA, but I think personally the best way to do it is, first of all, everyone hates the lottery. I don't think anyone has ever enjoyed the lottery ever since we found out, well, okay, this isn't really a lottery.
No.
And second of all, I think with Silver thinking it's these tournaments, maybe we do a end of a season tournament for the top 4 picks and just have the bottom teams that don't make the play-in or the playoffs and throw them in a tournament. At the same time, we're watching the NBA playoffs. On off nights, we'll watch the tanking, the lottery tournament, and the top 4 teams will play for those top 4 picks.
What did Chris Bell call it? The play-out tournament?
The play-out tournament, yeah.
Well, it looks like we know who our new commissioner is.
There it is. See? I'm telling you, Sparky. Everybody's got to jump on this ship, Snacks. I'm telling you. He said this last week, and that is one of the most brilliant ideas that has come out of Sparky's mouth, especially about basketball. It's beautiful. It's brilliant because it stops the tanking problem. And I know a lot of people have chimed in and said, well, then teams are just going to tank to be in that tournament. So what? At least they're not in the playoffs, and we still have competition for the first overall pick.
Yeah, I never understood the whole lottery situation, quite frankly.
It's to rig it. I'll be the one to say it's to rig it so the league can make the first overall pick go wherever the heck they want it to.
And or just make it easy. I mean, I still like Sparky's idea, but if not, just go by the rankings. Who has the worst records?
Right.
And just whoever won the championship, they go last.
Right.
Who's runner up goes second to last. And I mean, just go like that and just keep it simple. These were the worst teams, so let them go first. Try and fix their season around. But again, I like Sparky's idea. Let's go with that.
Well, we've talked LaMelo, we've talked the tanking. Now another story came out this weekend. Pat Riley finally getting his statue outside the, what is it? Not Staples anymore.
No, it's
crypto arena. Do you think this is a long time coming?
Yeah, I mean, because that was a part of the the good era of basketball. All we knew was Pat Riley and Phil Jackson. So what took them so long?
Yep, that's what we said.
They are the ones, and Mr. Nelson over in Detroit. Those are the guys that kind of make you fall in love with basketball, especially coaching. And I'm sure a lot of coaches will tell you that. They follow the book of these guys that I just named. So I think it's well overdue. Like what actually took them so long?
That's what I can't wrap my head around, is how we are just now getting a Pat Riley statue for the LA Lakers. Like, don't get me wrong, I get that Kobe deserved one, I get Shaq deserved one,
Magic
deserved one, but it's Pat Riley. If Pat Riley doesn't make the team what it was with Magic, we aren't talking about the Lakers like we're talking about them today.
And look at all the egos and personalities he had to deal with.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, besides Phil Jackson, I can't think of another Laker coach that deserves a statue more than Pat Riley. It's just ridiculous to me that it took this long.
And to think that Lakers had both those coaches as coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because where's Phil Jackson's statue? Is he ever going to get one?
I'm sure he will. And I was asking Burdick earlier, do you think LeBron gets one in LA? Obviously, he'll get one in Cleveland. But do you think after all this is over, all the drama with the Buss family, do you think he actually gets one out in LA?
No, the Laker fans don't really rock with LeBron like that. Almost cursed. They don't really. Laker fans, I think he'll get one in Miami or Cleveland before he gets one, and I'll be actually shocked if he got one for the Lakers.
That's exactly what I said, and I even said they should do it in Cleveland. They should make the entire statue him throwing up the chalk, and it faces that entire banner they used to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In Cleveland, right outside the stadium. I think it'd be perfect right there. But outside of that, I don't even know if Miami does it, to be honest with you. I think they would, just because of the longevity and just who he was for that team for a short amount of time. But if there's only one team that I could think of that could erect a LeBron statue, and that's Cleveland.
Yeah, and it makes more sense to go in Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean, again, I said it earlier, but do you think that he will be the best basketball player to ever come out of Ohio?
Oh, facts.
I mean, and this is counting Steph technically.
Yeah, and basketball player for sure. Because I don't know last time we heard something before him come out of Ohio or anything other than what's the big kid? He was a center. I can't think of his name.
Greg Oden.
Yeah,
Greg Oden, the what if of the 2000s.
Yeah, yes. And so now we have to go in that conversation. So again, for sure, LeBron is the best basketball player to come out of. Just give him a statue in Cleveland. It means more. It has a better story behind it. It always will be talked about, and so I think it's best to just go in Cleveland.
The only one that makes sense is Cleveland. But is there any other Laker that you think? We've already said Phil Jackson, obviously, but who do you think is the next Laker they're going to give a statue to if they do it all?
If Luka can win a championship there, I can see them giving Luka one.
I could too, honestly. It depends how long he plays there, though, because if this is only a couple seasons like LeBron, I maybe not. But yeah, if he could win a championship there, I could definitely see Laker fans at least calling for it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It depends on how long he's there, and if he can win one or two championships there and put up some record-breaking numbers, then I can see Luka getting a ship there. I don't. Outside of that, even older players, I don't know who you would give it to.
Mm. Well, that doesn't already have one, I suppose, but
yeah, because Lakers are good for giving out statues.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're running out of room. They're gonna have to throw it all the way down that LA Live walk up.
It could be the next what do they call it? The Star Boulevard or whatever.
Yes.
It could be the next thing. All athletes. Let's pull all the Dodger ones out too. We could put Jackie and Shohei and Mike Trout and all those guys right next to him and just do the star athletes of LA and just have an entire stretch for it.
Do the Walk of Fame.
Absolutely.
Well, we are right around the corner from March Madness. I know we talked a little bit about, was it the Kansas player that will not play?
What do you make of this Kansas freshman, Mr. Peterson, that is holding himself out, even though the Jayhawks are 8th in the country and have a legitimate shot here to make a run, but he apparently doesn't see it as enough to play. I don't get it.
Welcome to a new era of college basketball. We all saw this coming.
That's
This
what
is
worries me.
it's not a surprise at all. And it's going to really hurt March Madness because what we really love March Madness for, the thrills, the upsets, the players actually playing, and the competition of good players playing against each other. So it's I think it's going to get real interesting after this year, especially if they allow him to do it. So all it takes is one player to do it, and here we see the domino effect.
I highlighted last week, my friend, that I feel like in basketball, and I guess you could stretch it back to the NCAA as well, but I see it more in the NBA than anything. But it's kind of an attitude problem. And I don't mean like they're hooligans or hood rats or anything like that. I mean more of they're just not bringing the intensity and the competition of it all. You know what I mean? They're not bringing that fire that we are used to seeing in the basketball world. And with guys like Peterson sitting out, obviously that means the next generation is taking it even a step further. What can the NCAA do to really combat this and get these guys to play? Or like Sparky said earlier, these kids are getting scholarships to play. Can they get that taken away from them if they just decide, well, I don't feel like playing, I'm going to save myself for the league?
It's gonna. I know everybody's been talking about it, but I really think it's gonna have to come down to contracts, man. They're gonna have to start giving contracts to these kids, or like Sparky says, do something with the scholarship. But at the same time, they're getting paid. I don't really think these kids care about the scholarship portion.
That's the thing. Like that. I think that's really the line that got blurred when NIL started. Was the scholarship was meant to be your payment for being an athlete, but now, like you just said, these kids are getting millions. So what's the motivation to really play anymore?
Yeah, like, and are they really going to class like that anymore? Like, what comes with NIL? Because you're making that much money, it's very hard to tell a kid that's making, let's just lowball it, $500,000 a year. I mean, a season, not a year, a season. That, hey, you got to go to this geometry class. Man, I'm here to play basketball. I'm making the school money. Why would I go do that?
Right.
Like, so are they having those issues behind the scenes that we're not even talking about? Like, it's I think it's so much more outside of the kids just not playing. Because we already seen it in football. Football, they're already sitting out. So I think it's slowly but surely coming over to college basketball, especially when they start hearing about what place they're going to go in the draft. Oh yeah, I'm sitting out. Why would I mess this up and have a possibility of getting hurt? So it's something the NCAA gonna have. I don't know the end goal. They're gonna have to figure it out fast.
That's why I brought it up, because I brought up earlier in the show that when you're playing in college, it's essentially just one long interview process, especially if you want to go to the league. So
yeah, and those kids already don't want to do the school portion,
right? So you not showing up to the basketball portion too has to hurt your draft stock, does it not?
No, I don't think NBA teams care because it's all about the money.
See, that's
and who can help us win. So NBA has nothing to do. That's what's really hurting the kids, because the NBA is looking at it. You're coming at to help us. We don't care. You won't give a hell if you go get your degree or not.
Right. That's a good point.
Looking at his contract, it's up to $4 million. He's played 15 games.
See, and that's ridiculous. You're getting $4 million in a couple months, and you're not even going to play half the season.
That's crazy. It's crazy business.
It's incredible. And that's why I'm thinking in my head, you're right. One, contracts need to come for every college athlete that's getting NIL money. But I hope there is some solution to this where they can fix it and fix the entire just attitude problem that I'm seeing in basketball, because with kids sitting out in college level, there's no reason to believe that Peterson isn't going to sit out if the team sucks next year that he gets drafted to. You know what I mean? Like, say he gets drafted by the Pacers and they're awful next year because Tyrese Halliburton with the shingles and all of this other stuff that's going on. Like, he could just sit there and say, I'm out. I don't want to play. Like, I'm still going to get my money. But
that's my concern, is teams seeing him give up at this level
Right.
and what they expect him to just shake it off when he gets, to be a professional basketball player.
That's why I would assume, at least from the outside looking in, that would affect your draft stock. But again, I think you're right.
What about he gets drafted, plays 2 years in the NBA, and doesn't get the time that he wants, and then wants to come back to college.
Yep,
That's
like
the thing.
a lot of these other athletes are doing. Absolutely.
That which sets up a perfect transition, because that's one of the things we wanted to get into was some of these players that are playing in the G League and now are trying to push where they can go back to college and play. Do you think that's something that sooner or later they're going to have to work out?
Yeah, because these G League players are looking at the money that these kids in college are making. And
That's exactly what we said.
I can go back and make more in college than I am here in the G League.
Yep, that's exactly what we said.
Yep.
And when they're coming in as freshmen, I mean, 2 years down the line, you would still technically be a senior or a junior. So
it's the same thing like the NFL has just worked out, where we had a college player that was drafted last season and was in contract disputes all throughout the workouts in the off season and finally signed. But now the NFL has stepped in and said, well, now you can go back to the NCAA even after you've been drafted, as long as you didn't sign your contract.
Yep.
So now I think we're going to see it a lot more this year in April, once these players get drafted, whether they were drafted later than they expected or they just don't want to play for a certain city. And I think we'll see a couple players, maybe one or two this year, where they said, I don't want to play for the Dolphins. You look at the Dolphins. I'm going back to college where I can make double of what I'm making right now on a rookie deal.
But what
it sounds like, and I don't know if anybody else is reading into this, but it sounds like now the NCAA is trying to be in competition with professional sports.
Right.
It is. No, absolutely. I think you're 100% right on that.
Yeah, well, because it sounds like more, okay, the stipulations that they're putting into place is now, it makes no other sense than, hey, if you can't be successful at that level, we'll be gladly to take you back.
Yes.
To compete with that, which is ultimately hurting your brand, because a lot of people keep up with these players. Wait, this player just played at Georgia, and he just got drafted to Miami Dolphins. What is he doing back at Georgia?
Right. No,
playing against 20-year-olds, and he's 26 and built like a fireman, built together. Like, what is going on?
Well, I know that they just denied the Alabama center his ability to come back and play. Do you think that will set a precedent for the rest of these guys to essentially get shipped back, though? Like, do you think every other judge is going to sit there, look at that case and say, well, because they did it, you can't do it either?
No, I don't think that's going to switch anything. I don't even know. Like, I honestly don't know what will help any of them out other than 4 or 5 years, you're done. You got to figure out life at this point. Like, we're babying these youth at this point.
Mm.
You're not going through any type of adversity, anything. Like, you got to figure this. I'm sorry this didn't work out for you. Okay, go figure out a second part of life. What is your plan B?
And that's why you should have went to school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what the classes were supposed to be for.
And now you're stepping on a younger guy's opportunity.
Yep. That's the other thing that bugs me. You're stepping on a freshman or a sophomore's opportunity to play because you want to come back and be a hero. Like, it's like the kid who just left high school coming back and trying to play for his 5th senior year or something like that. It's just really weird to me, but it is what it is. My friend, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week. We got to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Join us on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all that type of good stuff. Instagram as well. Just search the Early Bird Special. And join us back here tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m. We got a stacked show for you tomorrow. Chris Orr coming in, talk Bakersfield lacrosse, KG talking wrestling. And I know we have an 8:30 guest, but it is escaping me right now because Sparky's giving me the countdown. So we got to get out of here. Sparky, let's get out of here.